I'm gonna get started on the miter saw station today. Just a quick, I don't know if you guys remember from the last video, but a little quick rundown of what I decided to do. There was numerous ways that you can do this. A lot of people choose plywood, cabinet style. I do like that, but obviously budget, cost, everything that goes along with it is a factor in this. So what I decided to do is I purchased some plans, $5 from Bob. I like to make stuff. He did a great job. I took his plans and I modified them to fit what I have here. I wanted a larger footprint. His original, I believe, had 4 foot on each side of the saw. I wanted to go with 8 foot on one side and 4 foot on the other, because this is strictly not just going to be a miter saw station, it's going to be a workbench area as well. I'm going to do it actually a lot simpler than what he has. There's a fence setup that he has on his, and with the stops, and from Craig or Rockler, I can't remember. I'm not going to do those either. I may do those down the road, but right now I'm looking for something quick, effective, and obviously budget. There are a few things that I think you need to take in consideration when you do this. I took his advice as well, and I still need to get some final dimensions on how I'm going to do it. But if we come over here, and my saw, for example, is the Delta Cruiser. When you do this, you need to make sure when you do the center that you take your saw all the way to one side, because since it's a compound miter saw, you need to take it all the way to one side and take your saw to the other side as well. The absolute worst case scenario of what kind of cut you would make. Go all the way this way, and I would go all the way that way. So I need to get that dimension before I decide to do that. So this can go up to 50 degrees this way, and then if I unlock this, this can go all the way this way to 45. So you would have 50 degree and 45, and then you need to take some rough estimates on where your board would end up here in your centerpiece total, I guess. So just something to take in consideration. But first what I'm going to do is I'm going to start just to build the left and right side, and then I will take the final dimensions before I actually build the center for where the saw will sit. So stick around, I'm going to get started, and we'll see how it turns out. Alright, so I've got my cut list. I have a lot of 2x4s to cut. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to go through and cut all of my 2x4s, and then I'm going to construct this using pocket holes. You can definitely butt joint this and use some drywall or decking screws, anything you want, but I think for mostly the frame, I'm going to do it out of pocket hole screws. And I like the joints. I won't be able to see anything. I don't want to see the screws on the outside. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to cut those, and we'll come back and we'll start on the pocket holes. Okay, so I have all my pieces cut to the length that I need, and I'm going to start putting in some pocket holes. Okay, I have the pocket holes put in the appropriate boards right now, so I'm going to go ahead and start building this up. This is a simple, when you see when it's all done, it's basically you're building a box. And the box is depending on how long you want it and of course how wide you want it. So I'm going to go ahead and start assembling that, and we'll show you when it's all done. So just to show you real quick, I am building, if you can see this, a total of 4. These would be the legs. So these will sit down, go across. I'm building 3 more of these, and then after that we will put the cross members across. Like I said before, I have a 93-inch piece or something, but an 8 foot this section, and I'm going to have 4 foot that section. So just want to show you that real quick. You can see the pocket holes. Simple construction, basically building the frame. Then after the frames are done, then you start kind of building that whole box. So stick around. Okay, so I have the frames done. You can see over here, this is my 8 foot. Come over here, this is my 4 foot. The saw is obviously going to go in the center. I've done a little bit of measuring, and I think I have the width that I want. This is going to be about 28 inches. I moved the 45 over. I probably need to do the compound part over as well, just to double check. I may make it a little bigger. A little bigger isn't going to hurt anything anyways. I certainly don't want to have to take stuff apart if it turns out it's not going to work. So a little bit of measuring to do with that. Obviously I have plywood to put on. I think what I'm going to do for the plywood, instead of screwing right down to the top, countersinking, it's really not that big a deal, I guess. It's a shop table, but I may put on the inside, I have a little jig to put pocket holes, and I think I'm going to use 1.25" pocket hole screws to draw that down. So, but that's probably not going to be for a little while. I need to build the frame that's going to hold the saw, and then hopefully get some cross members on there, get the saw put on, and go from there. One other thing that I knew I was going to I wouldn't say it's a problem, but you can notice behind here, considering this is obviously a pole barn, I'm going to have a gap. So I'm probably going to, when I do the tops for the tables, I'm going to extend it. I have to, in this case, 3.5 inches wider. That's to account for that I'm going to have 2-inch foam and I'm going to have 1/2-inch plywood. So I need to account for that overhang. The cutout shouldn't be that bad. I just need to cut around the posts, and I need to cut around these window frames. Hopefully it doesn't turn out too big of a deal. I know I had issues when I cut the around the post for my ceiling. The posts were actually twisted a little bit, so the gap is more than I'd really like it to, but I'll try to make it as clean as possible. But again, it's just a shop table. So hopefully I can get that done. And at some point, I did not pick up the mahogany. I was actually going to trim out this in mahogany to match the work table that I have, but I'm not too worried about that right now. I need to get this framed up and put on. Another thing that I'm going to do, because my floor obviously isn't level in here, it slopes towards the door, is I need to order some more leveling feet, the same feet that I have on my work table. I think temporarily what I may do is put some screws into this window frame, into these posts. I have 2 spots that I can do this. Put some shims under the front side for the time being, and then when I get leveling feet in, I will attach those and then just adjust them down till they just touch the floor. So I'm gonna do that and stick around, and hopefully I'll have her finished. All right, so in the last video I made yesterday, I ended up having to stop after that. I had some family stuff going on, but where I left off was the frame, and both frames were done. Everything was ready to go. So this morning what I ended up doing is I had to level it. I had some adjustable feet left over from my work table. So on the 4-foot section here, I put 4 feet, leveled it, I screwed it to the post, and I screwed it to the part of the window frame, and I screwed it on the bottom so that was in place. There was quite a bit of adjusting to do, but because it took me quite a while, but I was able to move the level across, make sure it's level here, and so on. So the 8-foot section that I have down there, I have blocks of wood. I had to order obviously more adjustable feet to attach, but it's the height that I need. All I have to do is attach the feet and screw down the pad until it touches the concrete, and I'm all set. I went ahead and I trimmed it with mahogany, and I think it turned out pretty good. There's so many things that you can do with this. You can see I have a shop back underneath. I need to get a flexible hose so I can come up and around. Let me take you around here. You can see it's got a nice work surface. One of the things that I had to do is I had to adjust this a little bit. I got it pretty close, but I had to get underneath and lower the bed a little bit. So now the bed of the saw and the table are all level all the way down. It makes a nice surface. When the weather gets warmer in the spring, I will sand the table off and probably put some polyurethane or shellac or something just to give a little bit of protecting. I have plenty of other things that I'd like to do to this setup, but right now I was looking for something that could be quick and effective, and I believe it's going to do that. I think the mahogany sets it off a little bit. I'm going to buy some teak oil or linseed oil like I had talked about, and I'll put on the work table as well. At some point I do want to add storage under here, whether that's drawers and doors with shelves. You can do anything with this setup. You can leave it open if you want and just have for storage, shop vacs and things like that. But I certainly would like to close it in at some point and get some drawers on it and get some more storage. I'm probably in the back here, I'm going to possibly put like cubbies all the way down just to whether it's sandpaper and things like that. It's not necessarily labeled as a miter saw station, but it's going to be anywhere when you have a small shop like this, anywhere that you can have storage is crucial for this, especially in this small of a footprint. So anywhere that I can create a drawer, can create a door with shelves, anywhere I'm going to do that. Hang, anything. But I think for now what I'm going to do is, as far as my shop goes, I have my table saw, I have my work table, I have my miter saw station, I have my joiner. I do need to complete just a few things on the work table. I'm actually going to redo the drawer that I did in the one video that I made for organizing it. I want it to be deeper, and so I'm going to redo that drawer as well. So I might add a couple little features, make some drawer pulls. I don't know. I'll think of something, but yeah. Other than that, it wasn't really that hard of a build. I think the hardest part was leveling it. It took a lot of work. Every time you'd level one side, you'd almost readjust the other side. So I got a technique down, and I think it worked out well. But I really appreciate you guys watching this. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you like what you're seeing. I do want to add one more thing. The heaters that I reviewed in the beginning of this video and the other day, well, it's amazing how much can change in just a couple hours, because this morning I came out, I turned on lights, I turned on the heat, everything was fine, and about 2 hours later, my wife came out and wanted to know why the heaters were off. They went out, they're broke, they're done. I am not sure what the heck is going on with them, but I took them down and I took them back to the store and I returned them. So at this point, I'm not sure what I'm going to go to right now. I'm probably not going to worry about it in the near future, but I'm probably leaning more towards hardwiring an electric heater of some sort and putting in the corners. So I wanted to let you guys know that is the heaters, they're done. I'm not sure what happened. I checked some old reviews and I didn't see anything where people complain about them just quitting. But hey, it happens. So I got my $100 back and I'll spend it on something else. But I think since I have all of the main components that I believe I need to continue on making smaller projects right now, I think I'm going to need to start focusing on the walls and get the foam and getting that taken care of. Obviously, I wanted an empty building to be able to have the room, but I think this is going to be just enough. if I start putting and building more things in here, I'm just not gonna have the room to maneuver around, so. So hopefully, I'm hoping in the next couple weeks, but we'll see how everything goes. I may do some small videos where I'm doing some small organizing. I have plenty of plywood left over, 2x4s, anything that I can probably make some quick videos just to show some organizing things until I save my coin for the walls. But again, thanks for watching. I appreciate anybody who's taking a look at this and who gets anything out of it. If you do have any questions on what I did here, I know I don't put a lot of video as far as me actually doing the work, but I figure most people, you know, if you know how to use a pocket hole J, you know how to cut wood, you know how to use a table saw. I don't believe I need to show that. But if there's something specific that you'd like to see and that you don't understand or you'd like to ask, please shoot me a comment. I'd be happy to ask that and answer that for you. So again, thank you. Until next time, I'm going to take a little break and try to figure out some small things I can come up with and maybe shoot some video and keep it going. But again, thank you, and see you next time.